Sorry about that. Good morning, everyone. Here we go. All right, morning, everyone. I'm Dark Algo. Thanks for joining me on this Monday, February 14th. Happy Valentine's Day. Hope all people's Valentine's Days are good. It is Monday. Market volatility will be the name of the game today. The market's going to go crazy. And volatility is good for the market. It is good for us. We just have to make sure that we do two things. One, we go into today not being directionally biased. Two, no big losses. If you start taking a loss, get out, because it could be exaggerated, right? I think this one of two things, like we're either going to chop again, right, or we're going to make some big moves in one direction or the other. Okay, I did start a little early, so I fully anticipate morning speaking German in my head today. Morning chat. I literally just, yeah. All right, so all right, so the big game was yesterday. I hope everybody was anybody surprised? I kind of was. I was mixed. I'm not either one of their specific fans for either one of those teams, but it would have been nice to see Joe come in, #1 pick, take him all the way to the win. Still, he did a pretty good job. The defensive line sucked at the end of the game, so it was kind of cool to see OBJ get a ring. And Stafford's been in the game a long time for him to get a ring as well. Okay. What else do we want to get into? I think that's it for about now. All right, the notification just got sent out that I am live, so I anticipate some people to be joining here shortly. We are going to I'm going to quickly go over the weekend watch list. I did not get a chance to send out the email last night. I apologize for that. We got a little busy, but I can quickly go over it here this morning, as well as you can watch the video I posted yesterday. Okay. So with that being said, the top four stocks for me to watch this week are Valero, FCX, Clorox, and coffee. I got one from each different industry: materials, industrials, consumer, discretionary, and what was the other one? There's another one. Let me see if I can find it real quick. So finance, energy, consumer staples, and materials, right? Finances, is it Capital One? Capital Cough. It's not coffee, it's Capital One. Anyway, obviously, if you've been with me for any sort of time, you can see what I'm looking at on each of these, right? We've got some FCX, which is Freeport McMoran. It looks bearish, right? I'm thinking this is a little bit more bullish. Obviously, if we break this trendline support, yeah, we're going to come back down and test some of these previous highs here. But however, look at this flow index, right? The flow index is making a series of higher highs and higher lows. That can pop off. This is a materials play. This is copper, right? If for some reason we decide that Russia decides to invade, then precious metals are going to be way more valuable. It's just the way of the world. Okay. Next we have Valero. This is a crude play, right? Valero is like oil and gas. It's not kind of the same deal. So if we break some of this support that we have going on here, right? I fully anticipate a larger move to the downside. This one bar and this one downside move with the flow index kind of forming a cup and handle. I want to see what plays out today before I get a little bit too directionally biased on it. And then secondly, bro, you're in Colombia? Bro. Dubai, Colombia. Well, what do you got going on, my man? What are you doing? Anyway, Clorox, right? Obviously, it's coming up to some previous resistance off of this dead cat bounce. If it can clear previous highs, I think that we get a little bit more of a move towards filling that gap. Yes, oh yes, oh yes. And then Capital One, financials, they've been taking kind of a hit the last little while, right? We'll see if we can get a bounce back recovery on that. Okay. All right, let's get into the news because we've got lots of news to cover. I've been working with TrendSpider charts a lot more lately, and I'm really digging this VWAP tool that they provide. It's pretty slick, uh, pretty dang slick. And then always my magic celts. I came up with a new layout. It's really hard to read, so I can't really stream it that well. But it's automatically plotting some support and resistances on it. I gotta go in and tweak it a little bit. I think it's trying to give me too much data. If I'm gonna do something like this, I might as well just grab my voodoo lines and use those. But yeah, I mean, that's just a little, I think it's just too much, right? I think it's, no, not that one. I think it's just a little too much stuff going on here. A little bit too much stuff. Probably don't need a half range. Well, I'll do half. Probably don't need those. I don't need those. Whoa. I'll have to go in and play with it. Anyway, I'm really looking at support and resistance. Supply and demand zone trading is going to be super important with any sort of chop because they're going to act as magnets. They're going to attract and repel. Okay. All right. So let's get into the news. We're going to use our magical celts. We've got some futures news to go over. Everything's pretty much flat so far, which is okay. Key events. There is an emergency Fed meeting today that will affect the market whenever they come out and notify us what the results of that are going to be. So there will be some extreme volatility going into today. Okay. Activision, ATVI, EA Inc., and Take-Two, Nintendo, video game sales fell year over year in January for the third straight month, as a drop-off in content and accessory revenues couldn't be saved by still strong hardware sales. Overall sales dipped narrowly from down 2% from January 21st to 4.64 billion, according to a group led lower by video game content sales that fell 4%. Accessory sales fell 15%, and hardware sales from Sony and Microsoft rose 22%. Okay, so what that is saying is that people are not buying as much stuff as they used to, because during the initial outbreak or whatever, a lot of more people were staying at home. They were bored. They bought all of their stuff then. So it's just kind of like there's ebb and flow. I think we're finally starting to get that little bit of settling of the wave. Okay. Micron was real close to being on making the list this week. It was really close at some pretty key support levels here, right? It held its 50-day, held at 21 on the 4-hour, got stack positive moving averages, double green. Micron may make some moves today. They are upgraded to outperform for mutual with a 120 target at Wedbush. 120. They're trading at 90. Okay, so keep an eye on Micron. Cisco Systems, right? CSCO. I can't remember if they almost made it. They may. No, they didn't. More close. Recently made a takeover offer worth more than $20 billion for Splunk. Splunk is a pretty cool company, right? But the companies aren't currently in active talks. Splunk, right, off that news, they're like, oh crap, that was fake news. Okay, so it isn't clear whether or not potential suitors are circulating around Splunk. Okay, geez, SYNA shares are up 590% since mid 2019, but Barron said its stock is relatively cheap, hitting a recent $21. That's not right. Hitting a recent $21. Once a low-key provider of chips used for PC touchpads, mobile screens, and fingerprint scanners, Synaptics has turned itself into a play for the Internet of Things. Yeah, that news is wrong. But 200 to 590% since last year. That's pretty crazy. Disney's back in the news again. Disney stock once again looks like a buy, according to Barron's, noting quarterly results and press this week, led by streaming and theme parks, is growth in both areas suggests Disney is finding a way to transform itself without losing its century-old identity. It's pretty good. It lost its 50-day. It's lost its 21. It's back down to 34. It's at the 4-hour mid. If we do get a bounce rally today, which is one thing that we're going to look at, I'm going to sell any rallies to the mean. I think we're having a longer-term downtrend coming soon. Okay. However, we did pull back. If we can maintain this 4-hour mid at 147, I think we get to move back up to test the 50-day at 149 for Disney. Above 149, we hit resistance at 150, fired our way up to 152.50. That'd be 4-hour mid to 4-hour top. Okay. Cassava Sciences, remember guys, remember playing this, right? Their treatment for their Alzheimer's disease is likely to drag out for years to come, thanks to the FDA decision last week, according to Stat News, saying the agency denied on a technicality several citizen positions that questioned the integrity of Cassava's data on its drug and sought to halt ongoing clinical trials. Sorry, I'm just fixing my shoe here. Any resolution to the Cassava debate will now likely have to wait for the results of two phase 2 trials now enrolling patients. Ooh, that's rough. That means that they're going to be chop suing for a long time. So I'm trying to stretch out these new slippers I got. This is kind of a fun one to play. They broke pretty key level support below the 4-hour. I think they back test the 4-hour top at 45, right? I don't think they're going to hold this 34. Natural progression. They wicked up to the 200, came back, tried to get above the 4-hour and make a run, rejected it, and then it's just been a downtrend ever since. Broke through the daily cloud, weekly cloud mid, and then 4-hour mid, broke below the 21. The 34 is holding them up with the 50 period magnet, and the 4-hour bottom down at 45. So Cassava 45, I think that would be a good short play. Look for a bounce off of that and continuation into some chop, because they don't really have any news for investors for at least for a while, right? They're just now enrolling people in their clinical trials, and they would need the results of 2 of those clinical trials before they actually move. Okay, MetLife, ooh, big rip, big old rip on the ES right now. Hopefully it doesn't just make this entire move pre-market. I mean, it's up 5 points already. It's pretty big. It's just coming up into the 5-minute kilt. Look for some resistance at this point. Possible pullback to support on the ES. Okay, that was all right. MetLife is considering selling its U.S. variable annuity book as it looks to free up resources to invest in higher growth parts of its business. I don't like the way this looks. Forming big old head and shoulders. I'm going to stay away from it. Allstate upgraded to buy from neutral at UBS as insurance sector and Progressive downgraded to neutral from buy. Again, I mean, there's a lot of this pattern right here. Rally pullback to support is really, really prevalent across a lot of stocks that we're going to see. So this is going to be really important with how 4-hour bottom holds, or what the 4-hour bottom has to say for a second retest across the 200. Okay. Alrighty, Raytheon, Copa, and industrial. Like, there's a lot of energy industrial news coming out. There's the tensions in the Ukraine. We're going to be volatile for any military stocks like Lockheed Martin, for example. We'll get into that real quick. So Raytheon, which is RTX, which is a fun one to trade, right? Said it received a grand jury subpoena in late 2019 as part of a DOJ criminal investigation into purported agreements not to solicit or hire employees in violation of the federal antitrust laws. This is just super chop lately. I would probably stay away from it, but there's that pattern again for our top test. Back to support. Does it continue on and make new highs, or does it fall back and do a little bit of pullback? Okay. All right. So Lockheed Martin announced that it's terminated its agreement to acquire Aerojet Rocketdyne. The decision to terminate the agreement follows the U.S. FTC's lawsuit filed late last month seeking a preliminary injunction to block the acquisition. In secondary news, Aerojet Rocketdyne's chairman and 3 directors asked a judge to block the CEO and her allies on the board from using company resources in a fight for control of the rocket engine maker. What's going on with rocket engine makers? AJRD. Ooh, didn't like that news. Lockheed Martin. Love that news. So, Lockheed Martin, LMT. This is a big government contract for war, basically. Okay. If we look back over the last couple of days, right, look back into last week, we were uptrending. All of this Russia news came out, uncertainty, volatility, off the 4-hour bottom, mid, 4-hour top. So the cycle back down would be 4-hour mid, right, 21, and then 4-hour bottom. So do we get the cycle back down, or do we just make this big giant head and shoulders here? Okay. All right, moving on. So we've got some airline news, bunch of airline news actually. United Airlines and American Airlines slide following European peers lower as growing concerns about geopolitical risks over Ukraine ripple through the global markets. American Airlines, obviously, consumer airlines are going to be affected if something in Ukraine does pop off. Just fear, right? So we've got a downside move coming up, right? 1321.34 stacked moving averages broke below the 50. So we're below all our moving averages at the 4-hour bottom. Below the 4-hour bottom, we hit weekly mid at 17. Below 17, it's a pretty big move back down to about 1575. On American, United Airlines, probably isn't going to hold up much better. It had overtaken its 200, right? And the daily and the 4-hour top. This was starting to look like these travel stocks, right? It's transfer, small caps were doing good. However, late last week, broke support for the 200. We do have stack positive moving averages. We came down, back tested the 4-hour mid, daily top. Next move down would be 4-hour bottom, weekly mid, monthly mid. Below that, so below 45.81 to about 45.12. Below those levels of support, we have the daily mid at 44, which is a 200. Below 44, it gets real ugly back down to about 40. This whole move right here would be wiped out. Okay. We have a rising 50, rising 200 that we're at support now. So we may, like I said, we still have stack positive moving averages. Nothing's cracked down yet, right? But we're trying to, right, maybe find a little bit of support here. Double green, lower time frames. We got some stuff popping off. Okay. Remember LiDAR from last week, VLDR? They filed for a mixed self of up to 300 million. This was their earnings, right? Where was their earnings? They had some news come out, big news that they partnered with someone I can't remember. I would stay away from this super chop zone, right? There's other things that we can look at. Ford, however, is still a buy according to Barron's, despite its eye-popping gains of 136% last year. Notes investors are cooling on the car manufacturer, but it might be too early to sell as Credit Suisse believes the legacy car company can keep improving, places a $25 price target on the shares. Rejection, 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 right? We're just rejecting everything on the way down. They may get a little pop off of that. However, look, 4-hour bottom, 4-hour top, they can definitely range, right? 1735, 1850, 1735, 1850. This can go on infinitum. You go on forever. Okay. Bally's and Caesars, right? Caesars Entertainment might be a buy in the online gaming sector, according to Barron's, saying the growth opportunity could be huge. What's going on, Caesars? Broke the 50, held the 200. Gave up the 4-hour, watch for bounce 4-hour bottom for move back to 4-hour mid. So that would be 81 to 84 to 86, 87, or we reject and we trade this weekly cloud, which would be 79.84 back down to about 75. Okay. All right. Let's see. World news. In world news, Goldman Sachs Group lowered their forecast for U.S. stock returns this year as this prospect of more aggressive monetary tightening weighs in on valuations. They cut their year-end target for the S&P benchmark index to 4,900 points, down from 5,100 points previously. So the ES has made about a 30-point move since I started the news. And it's just continuing to move. Damn, dude. Dang, that's a big move. I don't like it. Hold on, let me look at this something real quick. We're back to Friday's highs, right? Yeah, we're almost back to Friday's highs. That's massive. 43.75 to 44.18 in literally about 10 minutes. Let me show you what that looks like here real quick, okay? I know, I'm right in the middle of the news, but I want to see this. Consolidation, 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 rip. Right, this is the face ripper, right? 43.76 to 44.20. That's a huge move. Huge. 45 points. That's a 1% move in like 10 minutes. Is this a massive cup and handle forming? We will find out when we get back over to our futures plays. Okay. Los Angeles Rams rallied late to beat the Bengals 23-20 on Sunday to deliver an exciting end to the Super Bowl, securing the franchise's first championship since returning to the West Coast 6 years ago. I forgot that the stadium was in Inglewood, and I'm like, wow, Snoop Dogg's super popular. Also, in other news, sorry, adjust my slippers. In other news, Snoop Dogg bought Death Row Records yesterday. Snoop, ever since he hooked up with Martha Stewart, he's been doing big things. Snoop's involved in this company here, Stars Constellation Brands. Right? This is a $253 stock that just sells weed. All right. Okay, I got to be more careful for where I go with that. So, we do have some earnings today. After the close, we do have some other earnings that we need to be aware of. Nvidia has earnings this week. Okay. I want you to know Nvidia has earnings on Wednesday. Okay. I can't remember. Does Amazon have earnings this week? No. There's another company that has earnings besides Nvidia. What's the other company that has earnings? Yeah, Moderna. This thing's making me angry. I don't even want to talk about Moderna. Let's see, what else we got here? Car has earnings, right? That might be a fun one, right? Talk about a small cap play. There you go. This is the Russell move right here. All right, here comes the pullback. So funny. No major U.S. economic data for today, except for the emergency meeting. All right, it's not posted, but there's an emergency meeting today. And then finally, okay, here we go. And then let's just wrap it up. S&P futures are rolling low after Friday's late day swoon. No, they're not. They're rallying down roughly 0.7%. Well, they just right. All of that was just wiped out. So, and reports Russian attack on Ukraine could come at any time, spooking investors. Someone in the Discord group had predicted Wednesday that Russia is going to invade Ukraine on Wednesday, right? On Saturday night, Biden warned. I can't say this. I keep in a straight face. Let me try this again. So Biden warned Putin of swift and severe costs. I don't think you warned Putin of anything. I think you respectfully let him know that, hey, you backed me into a corner. If Russia moved against Ukraine, as both Washington and Moscow took actions to reduce their embassy staff in the countries, Russia has reportedly denied having plans to invade, but Moscow has massed some 130,000 troops near the Ukrainian border, along with tanks and infantry fighting vehicles. Gold prices rise to 3-month highs above $18.50 an ounce as the threat of war in Ukraine sends investors towards safe haven assets. Absolutely, precious metals. That's why Premarket is going to be my play for the day. Okay. The Treasury yield curve is flattening more, with the 10-year down 3 basis points to 1.92%, and the 2-year yield up 1 basis points to 1.53. In Asian markets, the Nikkei index tumbled 600 points, or 2.23%. That's a big drop, right? The Nikkei index dropped 2.23%. Shanghai dropped around 1%, and Hang Seng declines 350 points. In Europe, the DAX plunges nearly 500 points, or over 3%. So what's going on in the world? Everything's going down, right? And the FTSE 100 drops 150 points, or 1.9%. 2%, 3%. Imagine if the ES fell 3%, right? That'd be crazy. So I'm trying to find something to that I can equate it to. So 1% is $450. 3% is like 1,200 points. Huge drop, right? So we have to be really concerned about that. The concerns added to, wait a minute, what did I miss? Stocks slid Friday as increased tensions between Russia and Ukraine sent oil spiking, led investors to dump risky assets like equities, as the Dow shed 1.4, the S&P fell 1.9, and the Nasdaq down 2.7 for the week. The S&P fell 1.82, and the Dow lost 1, as well as the Nasdaq lost 2.18. Posted its worst 2-day loss since September 2020, and the day's volatility came after the White House said Friday afternoon that the U.S. believes Russia could order an invasion of Ukraine at any time, while Americans are urged to leave Ukraine as soon as possible. Absolutely. The currents added to inflation concerns last week after CPI data showed that inflation hit 7.5% in January, a 4-decade high. Fresh fears from the Federal Reserve may have to tighten monetary policy more aggressively than once thought. In the bond market, meanwhile, the yield on the 10-year Treasury note retreated a day after topping 2% for the first time since mid-2019. The yield, which settled at Thursday at 2.028%, fell to 1.951% Friday. Okay, so that's it. That's the news. This is the Flow Index. This is FlowTrade. They have created the Flow Index. The Flow Index tracks large institutions, hedge funds, transactions, right? What it does is it's created its own flow index algorithm that tracks all of those. Smart money can't just dump millions of dollars into the market without making some waves, right? They would create some artificial, artificial liquidity, and when the dust settles, their position would actually be worth less than when they entered. So they have to scale into positions and scale out. I'm going to use this cough right here as a good example of them getting out of positions. Okay. Yeah, I'll just have to use this one. So this is a very bearish looking flow index. So smart money is net selling, right? They're selling on these shares as price action is rising, right? If you own shares, right, and price is rallying up, you're selling out of it, right? At some point, a divergence is going to occur between actual transaction, selling transactions and buying transactions. And that point is at about 148.50 for cough. So price action continued to rally into last week, right? And financials, while smart money was selling out of their positions, right? So they're selling as it's rallying. At some point, that divergence, reversal point is going to occur, and price action has to come back down to the point of divergence, right? Because price action will follow the smart money, okay? I'm not sure what this giant candle is here. I don't know if it's a fake data candle, but I don't see anything on any charts that provide a $5 candle into the end of last week. For example, let's just look at cough here. So we're looking for a $5 candle. I don't see one, right? I don't see one. So I'm thinking that's just like a data glitch of some sort. So price is starting to pull back, right? We had divergence here, right? At 154, price was continuing to move. At that time, the flow index is selling out. So this little divergence right here is played out. We're looking for this next leg down for this divergence to play out, okay? We are at a previous demand zone currently, right? That's what basically this level here. There's two levels. Let me see if I can show them to you. There's a little micro demand zone right here. Oh, I missed my little circle. Micro demand zone right here. If we break that, then I think we pull back to previous highs at 151 and then trade down that zone to about 147. Okay, so I'm kind of bearish on Capital One. Okay. So if you have requests, get them into me now. We'll go over them as quickly as possible. Yeah, bro, I like traveling. I have a passport. We could go hang out in different countries, do some cool stuff. Okay. The list. Okay, let me go over this. This was the weekly watch list. I didn't get a chance to write it up, and I've got a bunch of screenshots. If you're interested in the screenshots, hit me up. I'll drop them into the Discord. But Valero, right? I'm not completely sold on this being a bearish play. I'm looking at a cup and handle, right? Potentially on the flow index. All this little previous divergence here is pretty much played out. We've got regular block trade support at 92. There may be some profit taking back down to about 90. If the 90 level breaks, then we trade these zones down. We trade from 90 back down to 88, from 88 back down to about 86, below 86, we do to 84. It's a $2 move every step down. I'm gonna watch for the flow index to reverse off of this. What's crude doing? Let me just check crude real quick. Crude is having a little bit of a downtrend. Gold is up, bonds are down. You know what? That's what I forgot to do. Let's do this first. Let's go over the overall market, and then we'll get into the plays. I think that's fair. Sorry. Here, let me do this. Let's do this. We're gonna look at the SPY. Johnny. All right, let me say good morning, Terry. Morning, Labs. Morning, Andrea. Morning, Green Life. Morning, Johnny. Morning, Watch List. Listen, y'all. Johnny knows what's up. Johnny knows what's up. These are wartime stocks right here. Walmart and Lockheed Martin, right? Why Walmart? Because everybody goes to Walmart to stock up on supplies. Lockheed Martin produces aerospace and military tech. Okay, so yeah, good job on those. All right, Sundial, SNDL. So with the flow index, penny stocks or sub penny stocks sometimes are not going to be available. There's just not enough smart money getting into it, right? This is mainly just a retail trade, so unfortunately we're not going to be able to show you what's going to happen with Sundial. Apologize about that. You could look at larger marijuana stocks for some guidance, because they all seem to travel the same, right? Stars, which is Constellation Brands. I don't even know. I used to trade these every single day. I don't even know if I'm going to be able to give you data on these. Is it CFG? Or is it CAG? CAG? I can't remember. Like Tilray, I don't even think will show up. All right, so there's Tilray, right? THC, is that one? I don't think that's Tencent Holdings. Stars. What are some of the other? I don't know what the other ones are, but I would look at the overall market. So, what's the? There's an ETF that trades all of these. I can't remember what it's called. I have to Google it now. No. Huh. PSY is psychedelic ETF. That's crazy. MJ. There it is. Thanks. MJ. All right. Follow what MJ does. All right. I see potential inverse head and shoulders forming. Right. MJ. Wow. It's $10. It's crazy. It's poor saps. I should buy it. A couple 100,000 shares of this. That will go someplace in the next 10 years. It's not going to happen this year or next. We're going to go to war for the next 2 years, right? Those wheat stocks are going to sit on the back burner. All right. Here we go. All right. So this is our sector chart, right? We're going to look at the daily, and then I'm going to break it down to each individual subsector time frame. As far as the chart layout goes, I haven't modified it, right? Let's get rid of that little guy right there. I haven't really modified it. We're looking at this March 16th deadline date. We're currently forming a doji, nice reversal pattern. However, we have this thick green line is a 200. This medium thick line is a 50, and the smaller line is a 21. We actually made a lower low. So we came back down, we tested that 50% retracement right on the dot. Y'all think I'm crazy with these fib levels. I'm not. They're important. We are currently forming a nice little, I call it a trend killer. It's when it looks like a sword, right? So if you're downtrending, the sword comes in and kills it one way or the other, right? And it reverses direction. Kind of like this one did here, right? Or this one here. You see this one right here? I wonder if I can highlight that. You see that one there? Okay, y'all can see that. Cool. So do we have a day like this? So we have the only difference between this is that we were fighting the 50 and the 21. Now we're fighting the 200 day and the 382 retracement from this high to this low, and it's a 618 retracement from this low to this high. This is a key level. Last time we hit there, we had a nice bounce for a couple days. Currently coming down. We have to get back up above it. We would need to close, okay? We would need to close above close above 44.40 today for a reversal, right? So let's see if I can, I might have to adjust my things here, right? That didn't hold, so now what are we going to form? Big old massive inverse head and shoulders, so we should have a couple up cycles, right? That's one possibility, that we close above the 200 and then we retrace the 50, the 618, right? Contrarian. See this one right here, right? We came down, we bounced up once, we came back down, right? This can fit here. I'll make it a little bit big up. Oh, thank you. So let me exaggerate this out, right? That goes there. That goes there. That goes there. This goes over here. And then this goes here. We could definitely form that type of move. Okay. So today is going to be a very, very interesting day. It's shaping up to be bullish. But keep in mind, nothing matters till the 4400 or 444440 level, right? Above that, we get bullish. Below that, we have a longer move to the downside. Okay. This could be setting up one of these. Right. So just yeah. So I mean, it's not going to hurt to give it a day or so to figure out which direction we're going to go, and then trade that momentum. Right. We don't want to chop, and I think we have to get back above the 200 if anything is going to happen here in March. This may be a more exaggerated move, right? I thought 4,400 to 4,500, excuse me, 4,600, so 200 point chop zone. It may be a little bit more than that, right? So yeah, we're gonna keep an eye on it, breaking it down to the 4-hour. All right, here's our 4-hour move, right? I whiffed on this. Totally whiffed on this whole move right here. I don't know what was wrong with me, but I'm looking for potential recovery. We do have some fight to get back up through these levels. We're currently negatively stacked. Where we're at, we've got some key levels of support. The 618 retracement from this rally is key level. We break that, we come back down to even more levels. So we're gonna keep an eye on that. Let's see how the 30-minute is shaping up, right? Look for longer term inverted head and shoulders. So that means we chop, 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 and then big move, right? Looking at it on the 3-minute because I was talking about, hey, we got a big rally happening right now. Well, there it was. Big old rally, minor pullback, continuation. Look for the bull flag to form. And then I would say today above 44.20, we can get some momentum going. We've got this 21.50, 200 cross about to happen. That's very bullish, right? Coming off trendline support. Like, I don't know, we 21.50 crossover caused that move. I don't know what's going on with that. It's just crazy, right? So we have overhead resistance, right? Previous highs. Just be careful. All right. I think we get an initial pull. I think we get an initial fade, right? And then a rally. I don't think we're going to just rally out of the gate. Okay. All right. Let me bring this back up. Looking at the NQ. The NQ is my least favorite sector right now. It is super tech heavy and super duper troopers. All right. No. Rallied up. This is that trend killer, that candle right there. You saw that on the previous chart. It was down here. So rally up, pull back, rally, reject the 200 once, reject the 200 twice. Let's come back down and get some support. We're kind of making a little doji off of the 618 reader, the 382 retracement, right? Can't remember what that red line was for. I drew it there, but I don't know what it's for, so I'm gonna get rid of it. Okay, so we have room on the NQ to move further down, right? So there is, let me just grab this zone here and move it someplace where we can use it. It's kind of a wonky little zone, isn't it? I think I think I'm out of shape with it. I'll have to go back through and maybe test some different levels, but I think I feel comfortable with that level there. Right, so just bring this way out here. Zoom in a little bit. All right, rally up, rally back down. Obviously, this move did not happen. We made a lower low. So if we were to correct something along those lines, right? A little down, a little falling channel. Falling channel. It's just so ugly. Let's see what we got. I'm gonna look to the lower time frames to give me an idea of what may be happening today with the NQ. Okay, so maybe a potential inverted head and shoulders here, right? Negatively stacked moving averages. So we got a lot of overhead resistance. We've got the 382 retracement, which is from this rally. We pulled back, we tested the 618, we tested the 50, we held that, held it, thought we were going to reverse, right? Held the 618, blew right through the 50%, right through the 382. I think my fib levels might be off a little bit, but yeah, what we're looking to see happen is probably a little chop, right? A little chop till about, geez, we could chop all day at this level, to be honest with you. I would be long on the break of 14,300, move to 14,484. We could definitely chop between, there's this dang zone right here that we can chop in, right? So below previous lows, we get low with it. Above previous highs, we get high with it. We can chop in here forever. Okay, moving. All right, so that was the 30-minute, looking at it from the 4-hour perspective. You know, inverted head and shoulders is what I'm seeing. Possibly mother bar. We just chop zone on that. Okay, and then finally the daily. Looking at it on the daily, we're just making a wick, right? We are making a doji right now. Okay, all right, moving on to the Dow. The Dow is probably my most favorite of the indexes going into last week. Definitely have some opportunity here, right? It rallied up. It was trying to straighten out its moving averages. It fell. It's making the same kind of doji signal as the rest of them, right? We are at the 382 retracement from this high to this low. This is a major level of support. If we break that, it gets super ugly. This is a reversal point. We do have the 200, 21, and 50 above us. So from this low to this high, we have a 618 here, right? We wick through the 50%, so we can very easily rally back up to 34, let's just call it 35,000 is a 200. Move up to 35,000, we got to close above it, and then we can chop in between this 35,000 and 35,400. We can chop within this little range here, right? Contrarian, we wick up and test the 200 and pull back, right? That's something we got to look at too. So rally to 200, chill out, let it close above it, then play the move, the directional move from there, right? I think that works. Sorry for coughing in y'all's ears. Apologize about that. Right, could be a longer term kind of flat inverse head and shoulders, right? So let's watch the 30-minute for a close above the 50, and then I think there's a move back up to the 50% retracement. This is a 50-period simple moving average if you want to draw one of those on your charts. And then finally the Russell. The Russell did a pretty decent job last week. It was way more impressive than I thought it was going to be. However, it is doing what it likes to do, and that is be a pain in the butt. Okay. We rallied up to the very, very top of this little supply zone. We couldn't break above 2100. All right, we couldn't close above 2100. There's a snow line right here. That's a magnet. It rejected it, broke the tree line. However, this longer term trend line here, support held. We may look at above 2052 for a move back up to 2100. If we reject this 2038, 2050 level, then I think we just melt down this trend line. If we break below it, then I think we have a larger move to the downside. If you want to look at, check this out from a trend line point of view, right? That was a pretty clear trend line that we are doing our best to close above. Lots of squeeze, lots of, like, there's just lots of compression happening there. So we did break that trend line support we had going on. We've got another one here. This is the 4-hour. Like I said, above 2040, of 2041, 2058, 2068. Kind of, I don't know if this is a falling channel. Do I have a channel tool here? It's a horrible channel tool. So falling channel support. Yeah. If y'all don't see the channel, here it is. Let me draw it up for you. Is it a wedge? Let's see. Well, there it is. It's a falling wedge, right? Upside, downside, upside, downside. So keep an eye on the Russell for some pulling back, and it's got, obviously, it's got a low target down here at sub 2000, 1995. Okay, gold, it made its move, y'all. Check it out. Check it out. There it is. Boom. Whoever turned us on to gold. Yeah, there's a ton of cryptos. All right, so what do we do here? We broke our longer term overhead resistance on gold, right? Big wick, closed above it. Do we start an additional uptrend? Well, we do have some zones here that we have to pay attention to, right? Which one stopped it? Was it that? I don't know how to make these zones because I've got a couple of different dojis that I could make them off of. I can either make them off of this trend continuation doji or this one here. It's probably going to be more in line with what I'm looking at. Okay, that's our next zone. What did I use for this one? Parallel channel. Right, big old move. Get rid of these guys here. Let's clean this chart up a little bit. I know I should have saved my zones, but whatever. I'll make new ones. Down to the 4-hour. Rally up. Support off the previous channel. Rally up. Stack positive moving averages. 2150, 200. Why aren't these holding this shape? I don't get it. I keep sending. Right, 2150, 200. Bullish move. Gold is bullish. War is bullish for gold. You know, so yeah, it's a pretty easy move. We have support, right? Previous highs, previous lows. We're using those levels of support and we're trying to bounce up off of it. I don't even know what moves with gold. There's got to be some gold stocks. All right, looking at crude, big moves last week in crude, made a new all-time high. It broke out of our wedge. It didn't follow our pattern at all. So we can just destroy this sucker. It's gone. All right, I don't think we need to worry about. All right, trendline support. I think there is a channel here that we might want to start looking at. So big crude pullback. Let's look at a retracement. All right, we take high to low. All right, perfect 50% retracement here. Could get a bounce and continuation on. We break the 50% retracement. We come back down and test this trend line support. So that would be that pullback in Valero that I was looking for. This is trying to form a little head and shoulders. So we will keep an eye on it. Big moves. We're trading way outside of our mean. We're at 2.5 standard deviations away from the zero line, this regression line. But like I said, perfect 50% retracement. Do we pull back, right? Or do we start forming a head and shoulders? All right, big old bull flag forming on the ES. It's continuing. All right. So this is the flow index. Okay. Sorry, I was just reading the chat. All right. The SPY. And so looking at the flow index, it has, looks like it's made a higher low. However, it's got some, I don't know if I want to call that previous zone there. I think we get a little bit of a pop. Like I said, we've got room back up right off of dark pool support. So 440 is the key. Below 440.50, I think we trade back down to 430, right? 431.35 to be precise. Below that, we move pretty decent move back down to 420. So 432, if that breaks, we have room all the way back down to 420. Below 420, it gets real ugly. Okay. I need to keep it. I need to see what happens with the flow index today. If it breaks above this line right here, that would constitute a all right, rising wedge. I don't even know what the SPY is doing right now. SPY should be having a pretty decent move. Look at this bull flag forming right here. Yeah, so 4-hour bottom, 200-day at 444. Above that, we move 450, 456. We reject this 440 level here, or maybe we reject 444, 443, right? Basically this 200. Then I think we move for our bottom, weekly bottom, daily bottom, right? So for our top, for our mid, for our bottom, back testing for our bottom, possibly weekly bottom, daily bottom, or up through 44, 43. I just got that 200 there. Let's just call it 44. 444. Oh, geez. Above 444, we retest 450 and then 455. That's the SPY. There's your dark pool levels. There's a dark pool block sitting at 449 that needs to be filled. That'll act as a magnet. So that should be our initial target for the day. Okay. Next up on our list is Lockheed Martin. All right, flow index trading with price, basically 1-to-1 with price. We've got regular block at 396, dark pool at 396. Bull flag forming here. Let's just see. Trading with price, trading with price, trading with price. All right. A little bit of divergence. If it can't bull flag breakout and the flow index continues to, they continue to take profit, then point of divergence is I don't know, it's just trading with price. So like I said, above these regular and dark pull levels, 396, 396.50, that's your support. You can go long, use a sub level to generate a target. Below that, we trade back down to the bottom of this zone at 385. Okay. Walmart, the next one up. Crude ETF near-term puts. I don't think so. I don't think so on Crude. I think Crude's about to make a move. Walmart. So Walmart is trading with the flow index. It came down. We made a new low. We've got a dark pool level at 135, another one at 136, and a regular block at 136.82. Those look to be filled. I would just say that there is a play. All right, we get above 135 or above 135.93 for a move to 136.08, above 136.08 for a move to 137. Right, basically trade back up to this zone. There's a gap that needs to be filled all the way up to 137.51. Right, at this point we can reject and chop, or we can break up and start a new uptrend. However, the flow index is pointing down and it is trading with price, so there's no clear separate divergence that we'd like to see. And then what was the other one? Moderna. Look at Moderna. We will also look at Sofi, just because they had the stadium news yesterday. CRM, and then CVS. All right, so Sofi is, what is Sofi doing? Sofi's got regular and dark pool support at 1240, 1245. It's got a 1287 magnet. If it gets up here, it can start trading back up to about 1350. Above 1350, we start getting bigger moves to like 1430. However, look at what the flow index is doing. The flow index is, right, it's trying to come back and test its trendline support. It's in a big old wedge, right? Look for that breakout to occur and the flow index start making higher lows and higher highs. We are at that support level, right? If we break if we break 1225, right, which is down here, 1225, I think we come back and trade down to about 1145. If we can get this low, I might buy some more comments. Oh. All right, next up on our list was CRM. Ooh, how about fall from grace? So flow index is trading with price. We have a regular block at 207.90. They came in at the close. If that's a bunch of buy orders, which it looks like it could be, nice reversal point here. That's the kind of move that we're looking to have happen. Flow index is just trading 1-to-1 with it. So upside target 210. The 210 to 215 move would be nice to play, right? Could also do, yeah, I would wait. 210, 215 is the move I'd like to play on CRM. And then CVS, this is bearishly diverged. I was going to look at CVS for our watch list. I know CVS had earnings last week, so a lot of this is based on earnings. We have some divergence, right? So we had divergence at this point here, right? Flow index is moving, or price action is moving up. The flow index is moving down. This divergence played out. This is what I'm talking about when divergence must play out. This is a great example, very, very good example. Divergence occurred at this point, right? Price action started rallying as the flow index was selling off. Well, what happens when you hit resistance? Well, you got to come back down, right, to match up with the flow index. Dark pool at 105.32. I think this is just a glitch right here. If we bounce off of this support, we trade back up this zone to 106.64. 104, 106. Okay. We break this 104, gap fill back down to about 102, right? That'd be kind of like this move here. Right. Contrarian, like I said, we break out. I'm not sure what this dark pool is doing, but that's the previous low, right? Trade previous low, zone to zone, right? There it is. Trade the bottom of the zone to the top of the zone. Take profit at the mid. Okay. And then finally, this is going to be the last one I got to run. Moderna. This is trading with price action, right? Moderna has a little bit of failed trendline support, right? It failed it. Come on, sucker. Just draw the line. Rally up, pull back, gap up, failed, broke support. We do have longer term support here at this level, right? We could easily just melt up, 160, 165. Very real possibility there. The flow index flow index hit resistance. And it's making a really long-term wedge. Really long-term wedge. Come on. It's not going to let me line it up. Trading the price. All right, there's Moderna. There's your moves. All right. Yeah, the Fed's speaking right now. Are they talking live or I thought it was a closed door meeting. I thought it was a closed door meeting. One second. 11 a.m. Bullard is speaking. Okay. So they're meeting today. 11 a.m. we're going to have the result. So we will see what Bullard has to say. Okay. Where are you getting that from, Pete? Is that Twitter, or I'm looking at? Hold on, let's see if I can find something. All right, so Fed's bullish say last four inflation reports show it broadening justifies 100 BPS policy increase by July 1st. Ooh. Fed must follow through, ratify expectations in 2-year BBG. Bullard need to front load more of planned end to accommodation. So Bullard would like 100 BPS by July. We'll defer to chair. Need to front load more of planned and to accommodate. No, idiots. He's not. He's not saying raise them now. He's saying that they need to change their 50 BPS to 100. This will move the market. Okay. All right, that's it for me. I got to run. Thanks for joining me. I'm Dark Hole Algo. I'm here every morning, Monday through Friday, 7:30 Eastern Standard Time. What am I watching today? Well, this is just ugly. I mean, how are you supposed to trade this? Rip pop. It's a new form of rap. It's called rip hop. Not to be confused with hip hop. All right, I gotta run. Laz, hit me up, bro. I would have went to Columbia with you. I might not have came back, but I would have went with you. All right, have a great day. If you have questions, hit me up in the Discord. I do have to stream live for the Bullish Bears this morning, so I may not be available in the Discord immediately, but I should be there throughout the day. Have a great one, man. We'll see y'all soon. Stay safe, stay green. Keep your seat at the table.